What's up, gang? Welcome back to DizDad TV, and thank you again for joining me on the channel. I appreciate it as always. Today's another reaction video, and we're checking out the Disney Plus and Marvel series She-Hulk. This is episode 2, Superhuman Law. If you want to check out my reaction for episode 1 or the Marvel Star Wars shows, trailers, Imagineering, and theme park content, you can find that all on the homepage of my channel. Appreciate you checking those videos out. Just kind of a quick recap of episode 1. Thought it was a great start to the season or series. Basically just knocked out her origin story in one quick episode. She picked things up very quickly to Bruce's amazement, or Hulk's amazement, I guess it's to say. Really good episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The back and forth between her and Hulk and both personas was fun to watch. Again, casting-wise, I think Tatiana Maslany was perfect for this role. I think things are getting a little more difficult for her as the season progresses now that she's made that appearance as She-Hulk in the courtroom. So curious to see how that plays out. I would assume now that we've got the origin out of the way, we'll start getting some sense of where the story is going to build from episode 2 on through the rest of the season. Got a lot of Hulk in that episode, some hints of what he'd been up to in prior years, and maybe of where he's going to end up in the future at some point. So that was interesting to see. And of course, that great end credit scene. That was something Marvel, but just looking forward to episode 2 and just kind of seeing what's in store for us next and where we go from here. And with that being said, let's just go ahead and check it out.
Seen from the Metropolitan Courthouse today, where super-powered influencer
Super influencer.
Aftermath of the chaos, a new superhero appears responsible for stopping.
Blames it on low blood sugar. Nice.
Yeah. So this chick, pretty decent.
Oh, gosh.
She-Hulk? Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Lady Hulk, Girl Hulk, She-Hulk. Come on, just give them what they want.
She's going to be a sideshow now, isn't she? But hey, she can't get drunk.
I just think it's a little unsportsmanlike to suddenly debut superpowers just to drum up publicity for yourself.
Every time that guy opens his mouth, he is just a complete jerk.
Student loans to become a vigilante. That is for billionaires and narcissists and adult. What is it?
Could you go back to Jen?
She's a little intimidating, isn't she? She's gonna be drunk now, isn't she?
Yeah, different metabolism. I'm listening, sir.
This is like the worst time to be drunk. Talking to your boss.
Well, what was I supposed to do? Like let them get hit in the face with a desk and then they have blunt force trauma and they're all bleeding out all over the
She's
court?
got a point.
No, Jen, I'm sorry. I have to let you go. This makes you a lot-
That sucks. Attorney for hire.
We can't hire a lawyer who's such a big distraction in court.
Nobody's gonna hire her, are they? There is at least one law firm we know of that might give her a shot, though.
Jen.
What?
Jen,
Iron Man shoes.
I want a prize. Come on.
I'm gonna have to go back and freeze frame that screenshot there from the computer. There were some other articles in there that looked interesting. I thought I saw something about the Celestial in the ocean that nobody's mentioned for however many months since Eternals, but there was a few Easter eggs, I think, on that computer screen. But the Iron Man shoes, saw that right away.
Sweetheart, oh.
There you go.
Hi.
Oh, who is that guy?
You know, this much sugar is
Oh, I know him, but I cannot place who that is.
No one's going to bring it up.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Jen.
You gotta fire him.
God. Right off the bat.
She already feels like
Oh,
It's okay.
Perfect Strangers. That's where I know him from. Talk about your old school shows.
Now, Jen, that Hawkeye guy, what happens to those arrows of his? I mean, does he go around and collect them when he's done?
Oh, gosh. This is like the worst family meal ever. Good grief.
So back to Hawkeye. It's pretty hazardous to leave those things.
Get out of there.
Sweetheart, it's gonna be okay. This isn't even the first time we've had to deal with a Hulk in the family.
It's got a good point.
To be head of a new division, yes. Take some time.
I accept.
Oh, God. That was fast.
I We'll only do it if I can hire my own paralegal.
Is that your only demand? I think you could have gotten more than that. That's a little too easy. Haven't we all done that?
Just started a Superhuman Law division, and I want you, well, the She-Hulk, to be the face of it.
And there it is.
Human Law.
God, is this why they hired me?
Fourth wall. And it's interesting because
There's always gonna be
nobody
the
hears
reason
her,
I got
but
the job. It's
back
so
in the first
unfair.
episode, the one time she did this with Hulk, he acted like he heard her. So, curious about that.
I'm agnostic.
What did you just respond to?
Oh.
I'll spend the rest of the year worrying about what I do.
Sweet office.
Found out the only reason they hired me is because they wanted a Hulk lawyer in the Superhuman Law division.
Yeah, you accepted a little too quickly before you found that out, didn't you?
Snacks and a map to the best bathroom for pooping.
Thank you.
So important when you work in the office to know where the best bathroom is, right? Oh, that's hilarious.
Want to assign to
Your
me?
first case is the parole of Emil Blonsky.
Dun dun dun. What prison is this? Department of Damage Control. Last we saw them was in Ms. Marvel.
Oh,
Walter.
Ooh, that's a little wild.
you gonna serve me up with some fava beans and a nice can?
Ma'am.
It's good to see Tim Roth back on the screen.
With 7 soulmates that I met through the prison pen-pal program that I want to start.
What? 7 soulmates?
I thought I was the good guy, you know? I thought I was going to be, you know...
He's making a compelling argument, at least in his own mind, I guess.
Your cousin is held up as some kind of hero, and I'm locked up in here.
It's a little reminiscent of the Wanda and Doctor Strange exchange in Spider-Man No Way Home, isn't it?
Various haikus that I've written.
Oh boy.
To each of my victims.
He's written haikus.
Miss Walters, this is Holden Holloway. I expect to hear your decision by the end of today.
Just gotta call Bruce, right? Well, so much for my thought that we wouldn't see him again until the final episode of the season.
You know, isn't rehabilitation something that we should strive for as a society?
That's what you
But none of that matters if you don't.
She's already made her mind up. She's taking the case, isn't she?
I'm calling you to tell you I'm taking the job. Yes.
That's great, Jen.
There you go.
Actually, Blonsky wrote me a really nice letter a while back.
And a really heartfelt haiku.
Oh gosh. Can we see the haiku?
I got some things I gotta take care of.
Oh wow. Well, there you go. I'm assuming that's a voluntary excursion to Sakaar on that ship. I guess that answers some questions, but it makes sense to kind of get him out of the way now so she can kind of handle things on her own the rest of the season. But there you go. I mean, changes in the future probably for Smart Hulk. I'm very curious what led him to head to Sakaar, what the reasoning was. So, but it makes a lot of sense just kind of how the next couple phases of the MCU are shaken up. So much to look forward to.
After shocking footage leaked showing the Abomination participating in what appears to be an under...
There you go. Well, that answers some timeline questions. This is...
That sucks.
Roughly what? Same timeline as Shang-Chi, unless that's old footage. But I'm curious, did he just leave? Did Wong just get him out? Obviously, he got him out while he was with Damage Control, and explains why Wong's going to show up in future episodes. But very, very interesting. All right, what kind of end credits do they have in store for us now?
it, right? Look,
counterclockwise.
just turns the wheel. I don't know what
She's basically the muscle in the family. Any odd job that dad needs done, lifting something heavy. That's what, yep, there you go. That's what she's there for. Way to go, Dad. Oh my gosh. Not quite the crazy end credits we had from episode 1, but that's still amusing. I tell you, that family of hers. I don't know how she stuck around for dinner that long. I would have got out of there fast, but another good episode. I thoroughly enjoyed this, all different parts of it, but nice to see kind of the progression of the story, seeing her take on this new law career after getting fired, which sucked, but makes kind of total sense with that She-Hulk persona and how that factors her working in the public sector. So along comes JLK&H, Superhuman Law Division, and makes total sense that they'd want her to represent them. She took that job awfully fast. Probably should have found out that they wanted her to be She-Hulk, 24/7 when they're representing them. So, and again, I think I mentioned the reaction. She's become a little bit of a sideshow now. People want to see She-Hulk more than they want to see Jennifer Walters. So she's going to have to balance being able to understand people want to see that. I don't want to call it, it's not a freak show, but they want to see that new thing, the new superhero. It's kind of a big deal. So how does she adjust to that? It's kind of a hit to the psyche, I think. When you've got people that they don't want to see you, they want to see this other person or a character or being that's in you. So she's going to be struggling with that for a while. We got a fourth wall break again in this episode. This one a little more prolonged as they were walking through the office. And it was interesting to see this. I think this is the first time where it happened where somebody else was talking and she totally missed what they were saying. I don't even know what question she was responding to, and she didn't either. But it was interesting. It was nice to see that. And I'm also curious too, I think I mentioned as well during the reaction, she's done this a couple times now and nobody else notices, but when she was repairing the bar with Bruce in that first episode, he turned around. So I don't ever recall Hulk having any kind of fourth wall break. So I don't know if they'll address that, going forward the remainder of the season, especially with Hulk being gone now off planet. But is that a Hulk thing? Or is it just, I don't know. Hopefully they'll address that because I'm very curious now what made him turn around when she did that in the first episode. But, speaking of Hulk, he's off planet now. That answers a few questions we had about that Sicarian ship. Why it was there, of course, it raises more questions. I assume he left voluntarily, and why was he leaving? But it also makes total sense with where the MCU is going forward, looking at phase 5 and 6, especially with Secret Wars on the horizon and what potentially could be a change in character for Hulk, I have to assume. And again, I'm very curious what made him leave. But again, it makes total sense as well, both for this season and this series as well, just to kind of give She-Hulk that opportunity. She's the lone Hulk on planet. It gives her a chance to really kind of figure things out on her own. She didn't have Bruce to either bother her with just checking on her, but also she can't call him for help either because he's off planet. So it gives her a chance to kind of figure things out. But again, really enjoyed this episode. Thought it was really well done. Tim Roth, it was great to see him. Kind of this change in his character a little bit. The whole haiku thing was pretty funny. I would love to see that haiku that he wrote for Hulk. I think we have to see that, don't we, at some point? Maybe that'll be a future end credit scene. But I thought that scene between him and Jennifer Walters was really, really well done. Department of Damage Control make another appearance. Obviously we saw them back in Ms. Marvel, I think episode 5, maybe I think it was episode 4 or 5. I'm not sure which one that was, but seeing a larger presence from them in the MCU as well. And I would assume we're going forward too. We'll see much more of them in the future. So curious what you guys thought of this episode as a whole and kind of where you think this goes from here. I would assume we're going to see Wong in the next episode based on the very last few minutes here where they provided that footage of Abomination and the cage fighting from Shang-Chi. It does help line out the timelines as well. Makes total sense to kind of have that these are all concurrently happening. Although I'm wondering, was that old footage or did that literally just happen right after she went to visit him? I would assume they'll answer that in the next episode, kind of when that took place. I would have to believe that was prior to her visit. He seemed pretty in tune with his human side when she had visited Tim Roth, Abomination. So I don't know that would happen then. So it'll be interesting to see one, why Wong broke him out and kind of how that plays out. And, how many episodes does this Abomination case last? It seems like the parole hearing's probably coming up pretty shortly, and kind of where does her law career go from here in these next few episodes? I can't imagine that it's going to take up the whole season. We know Daredevil's coming at some point in the future as well. So I got to figure that ties into the law court cases in some aspect too. So looking forward to what they have in store for us next and where we go from here. A few Easter eggs. Again, I'm going to have to go back and look at that computer screen that she pulled up when she was looking for odd jobs. And there was some kind of Swiss mascot. I saw the Iron Man 3 shoes, which was wild. And I thought I saw something about Celestials in the water, which I don't think any of the Marvel properties to this point since Eternals have ever referenced the Celestial out in the ocean. So if that is this the first time that they've done this? And there was another story on there I didn't quite make out. So next reaction, I'm going to have that screenshot pulled up and we'll check out what else was on that screen and see what I missed. It went by so fast, I couldn't check it out. So again, thank you guys for joining me for this episode. 2 episodes in this format, it runs by super quick. And I don't mind that at all. Makes it easy to watch. The comedy, the sitcom style, really enjoying it. Definitely works for me, works for this character, and works how they're setting us up. So looking forward to episode 3, and I appreciate you guys joining me. And until then, I will see you next time.